Hello and welcome to the first episode of Activate, Don't Fractivate. My name is Alice Heescecker. I'm a graduate student at the University of Northern Colorado studying for a career in the oil and gas industry. Through my personal experience, I have discovered that there is a vast misconception with fracking, from how the well is drilled to what happens after the oil is gone. Everywhere you look nowadays is another fracking activist or fractivist spouting bad science about a topic that they clearly haven't fully researched. One of my favorite stories about fractivists is about a very good friend of mine at UNC. Being a philosophy and business major, she was a self-proclaimed tree hugger and fractivist. One fine day, while perusing my Facebook feed, I discovered that she had passionately commented on and shared an article from her iPhone about fractivists surrounding an oil rig in their kayaks off the Seattle coast. The rig, operating under Shell Oil Company, was on its way to drill in Alaska. Two things about this story make me so tickled. One, kayaks are made out of polyethylene, a plastic, and two, iPhones are also made out of plastic. Now riddle me this, Batman, where do plastics come from? That's right, petroleum. Nowadays it's extremely hard to find any product from clothing to technology to dental floss that in some way does not use petroleum or the oil and gas industry. So these fractivists drove to the coast in their petroleum-using cars, wearing clothing made from petroleum, paddled their little hearts out in their petroleum-made kayaks to surround a petroleum-producing oil rig, and then tweeted about it from their smartphones, which, you guessed it, are made from petroleum. Needless to say, my friend really didn't like my argument, but it did make her go home and do some more research. It is my belief that the best way to make a decision is to have all of the facts. So whether you already have an opinion about fracking, or are just starting to form one, sit back, strap in, and become a fact activist. Today, we're going to clear the air and talk about horizontal drilling methods. Fracking, formerly known as hydraulic fracturing, is the process of injecting liquid at high pressure into subterranean rocks, as to force open existing fissures within the rock and extract oil and gas. But what processes do oil and gas companies use to actually drill for oil? Oil and gas companies like Chesapeake Energy, for example, use roughly 9 stages for drilling. First, a drill location is cleared for all of the necessary equipment required for drilling. This is called a drill pad. Second, a large diameter hole is drilled 50 to 80 feet down and a protective casing called a conductor casing is installed. This casing protects the drilled hole, called a borehole, and isolates it from water wells. Cement is then pumped inside and outside of the conductor casing for added protection. The next 180 feet is drilled using large drill bits and compressed air to protect the water zone. This is where we get our drinking water. Steel casing is then installed in the now 260-foot deep hole, and cement is pumped down through the drill and back up the outside of the casing to keep the casing in place. This process completely isolates the borehole from the water zone. Nothing gets in, and more importantly, nothing gets out. Then, a smaller drill is used to drill through the cemented borehole to approximately 8,000 feet. Drilling mud is used to lubricate the drill, stabilize the hole, and cool the equipment. The mud is a non-hazardous mixture of bentonite clay or synthetic thickeners. The smaller drill is removed and a special drill is attached that gradually allows the company to drill at an angle until a horizontal plane within the oil formation is reached. This horizontal plane is at the oil-filled rock layer called the target zone. The drill will continue out another 4,000 feet in the target zone before completion. The drilling equipment is then extracted and a production casing is installed and cemented in place. If we were to cut the drilled hole in half, we would see 7 layers of cement and steel casing around the borehole. This is to protect the environment around the borehole and to make sure that the only oil and gas being produced is coming out of that specific well. More than one borehole using the same process can be drilled at one well site. That means that one horizontal well plus well pad is equal to 32 conventional wells plus well pads. The information on horizontal drilling from today can be found on the Chesapeake Energy's company page at chk.com, and they have a great YouTube video you should check out called Chesapeake Energy's Horizontal Drilling Method. Thanks for joining me today to talk about drilling methods. Stay tuned for next week when we discuss why fracking is not the cause of earthquakes. Till next time, be an activist, not a fractivist.